Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got something from Flysky today. It's the new version of the very popular and extremely affordable G7P. This is the G7P Plus. So thankfully with this one, we can still use all the same ANT protocol receivers. So if you want to upgrade from the G7P to this, you've still got all the ANT protocol receivers that work, the ESC receivers, light controller receivers all work with this fine. All the original iBus telemetry all work with this. Big differences we'll look at when we get into it. But yeah, the price on this, I will leave a link below as always. But for UK, you're looking around $58.99, so below £60. And I think US dollar wise, it's around $78.99, so below $80, which, yeah, it's a cracking little transmitter for that to get you up and running with a multi-car, multi-channeled receiver and transmitter setup. So let's bring you in for a close-up look and see what we make of this. So first off, we'll have a very quick look around the box. ANT protocol, G7P Plus, just a few links to Flysky's website. Same again, other side, and just tell us a little bit about this. So the actual transmitter itself, we get the FS-G7P Plus, 2.4 gig ANT protocol, 4 to 9 volt DC. It'll run off 1.5 volts AA and 2S lipos, and we're looking only 305 grams weight wise, so yeah, pretty nice and light transmitter. Receiver wise, it comes with the FSR11P, so it's a 11 channel receiver. The transmitter itself is only 10 channel, but that is up from 7. ANT protocol, 3.5 to 9 volt, and it's only 10 grams. So just tell us a bit about it. But yeah, let's get this out of the box and see what we make of it. So in the box, we get a little quick start guide. It's tiny writing, but it does cover all the basics, tell you how to use it. We do get a little white box in the bottom. So in mine at least, I haven't got a USB-C cable, but it is just standard USB-C. That's all you need for it. We do have the receiver. So we've got a bind button, we've got 11 channels. You've also got the BVD cable that can monitor a LiPo. So either the one you're running the RC off. If it's the one that's powering the receiver itself, you only need to use the positive cable. If you're monitoring a separate LiPo that doesn't power the receiver in any way, so not through the ESC and not plugged directly into the receiver, then you'll need to use both positive and negative to get it to read. But it's useful if you're monitoring a separate LiPo that's, for example, running your lights, not the RC. But you do have 11 channels on this. We also have the input for the iBus sensors, not to be confused with iBus 2, but the original iBus sensors. And the one that says servo is for the 4-channel breakout to give you 4 extra channels. But yeah, quite nice to see that we get a decent looking and fully featured receiver with this for the price. The transmitter itself, identical in pretty much every way to the original G7P. We've got a button on the actual grip, throttle and brake. We've got steering, but unlike the original G7P, we've got a nice foam wheel, nice design. We've got a toggle switch down here. So it's just press and release. We've got another variable with a little notch, indentation notch. We've got a 3-position switch up the top here. Then if we move around to the top, we've got as power switch. We've got as menu sort of control. We've got a 4-way hat on the top here. We've got a variable dial with center notch. And then we've got a button, so we can switch on off. So let's get the batteries in this. On the bottom, you've got the little JST connector, or we can run it off of AA batteries. So for me, I'm going to pop some AA's in it. And I must admit, up to yet, I've not managed to get my hands on a 2S LiPo that fits in these little controllers. But that's how it all goes together. So if we power it up. Now, as standard, it does have beeps and it will have the warning beep, but I've turned them all off. Purely because it can get really annoying when I'm trying to do video. So let's bring in for a close-up look and run you through some of the features. So first off, quick look around the screen. We've got our dual rates. We've got dual rates for steering and throttle and brake, all displayed on the bottom. We've got as timer. We've got as battery level up here and the little battery icon, what model we're on. You can see where the steering and throttle is. So if we drop into as menu, first menu we come to, we've got servo reverse, endpoint adjust, sub trim, ABS, idle up, engine cut, channel speed, as dual rates, we've got as curve, our SVC for the FSR7V receiver, I believe it is with that one, with gyro control, or the beginner setting. Next menu, we've got as channels what we can assign, so channels 3 to 10, up from 7 channels on the original G7P, we now have up to 10 channels. If we come down to mixing, we've got steering mixers and then programmable mixers 1 to 5. We've also got our timer and as lap list for when we're using the timer. We've got as assignment menu, so you can assign the knobs, switches and trims. And then as you go through, it shows you what each one is assigned to and whether you've got the function on or off. Then if we move through to the next menu, we've got failsafe, bind setup, range test, as sensor setup, ESC setup and iBus setup, config. And then we've got as model select. If we go into this, as models are now greatly increased, so if we come down we can go all the way to 20, and I believe the original one is restricted down to 15 now. So yeah, that's a welcome update. We've also got race mode, so it'll turn the beeps and everything off, so you're not annoying everybody. We've got the setup, calibration, firmware update, factory reset, help, where it'll take you to some QR codes for your manual and everything, and Flysky's website. And then about, so it'll show you your firmware version. So 103 on this one. And then we're back to our main setup menu. Quite a nice menu to navigate, it's not really difficult or anything. If we hop into system settings, we can see we've got English and Chinese, I believe it is. The idle alarm I've disabled. We are running on AA batteries, but you can set it for 2S LiPo. And it will alert you. So you've also got other where you can set the voltage yourself. LCD, we can control the brightness of it and the backlight, so it's like contrast and backlight. You can change your LED to be on or off if you don't want that on. Screen time, you can have it so the backlight dims out for you. I have it on all the time for videos, and then again you can have it so it beeps if you want every time you press something. For me, when I remember, I turn this just to alarms when I'm doing these videos, because it gets really annoying for everybody. And you can also disable the failsafe tips in here, which I've done. You can control volume as well. The calibration is a useful menu, so in here you move your variable dials and everything to calibrate them to make sure they're all working right, and your steering and your throttle. It's worth doing that after firmware updates. And then it says calibration successful, and that's how you get it into firmware update mode. So if we look at the receiver itself, if I quickly power this up, so I'm just going to give it power press and hold the bind button and just give it power on any of the ports, and you'll see it start flashing. And if we go into as menus, we can come down to our RX menu. We go into here, we go into bind. For this one, it'll be a two-way receiver because it's got telemetry. So as options are routine or fast. For me, routine will give you better range, fast will give you lower response time, but for most people, routine should be fine. For this one, we're going to change it to two-way. RX type is standard because it's not an ESC that we're binding to. We want PWM and iBus. And then as servos, I tend to set this to digital. If you have problems with digital, you can set it to other. So in here, we can then go across, and what I'd usually do is set this to 333, because 333 Hertz is the standard for almost any servos and ESCs. The only ones you'll get problems with is Traxxas. Because of how slow some Traxxas ESCs are, you might have to set that down as low as 285 or 250 to get it to get the Traxxas ESC to be able to calibrate. So once we've set this how we want it, we can click start. It'll tell you that it's bound. And if I just get, let's quickly plug in a little servo. So if we plug it in to channel 1, we've got a steering. If we plug it into channel 2, it should have us throttle. Yep, so all that's working. If we back out, so we can come all the way out of this, you can see a signal strength up at the top. Now what we can do, if we want to monitor the actual LiPo that we're running off, so if this was running through an ESC and it's your main battery, or if it's just a battery pack in a nitro and you're running it like this, you just plug the positive into the positive on the balance cable, or you can just put it to the positive that's actually powering your receiver, or the positive going into your ESC. So if we have the positive connected, let's have a look. So we can come into sensors, we can go down to BVD, and you can see the BVD voltage, 7.5 volt. You can go in here and you can set an alarm if you want. So you can set it at the high point for the alarm or the low point. So if you connect it to a battery that's above 8.4 or below 4.2, it'll alert you. You can configure them to whatever you want, and you can also calibrate the voltage. So if you've got a really accurate multimeter, you can use it to calibrate the voltage of the BVD and get it absolutely bang on. They're usually pretty close to start with. And if you don't want the timer, if you press and hold the main button and then go into it, we can change the timer for a sensor. Are you sure? Yep. So you can have sensor panel reading. So on there, we've got a signal at 100%, or we've got as BVD. And if I unplug the BVD, you can see it drops to 0. Plug it back in, we got 7.5. So, as I was saying, if you wanted to have another little tiny battery powering some LEDs and you want to monitor them, so if we plug just the positive into this one, you'll see we get no reading at all because we haven't got negative as to complete the circuit. So if you're monitoring a battery that's not connected to your receiver, then you'll need to plug in the negative to get it to read. But all in all, really nice little transmitter. I do think the sensor reader is probably going to be more use to people than a timer for a lot of people. Not that it's completely useless, it does have its uses. You can assign trims and everything, and the auxiliary, but the other channels to whatever you want on this. So It is massively configurable. Really nice that we can use LiPos or AA batteries, or you can use LiFe if you want. It does look like you'll have to supply your own USB-C data cable, but literally it's the same cable that comes with every mobile phone and pretty much every device nowadays. So yeah, there's only so many USB-C cables we need. I do like the way that on the screen you can see what's going off. You do have shortcuts, so you can see what's assigned to various different channels and what they're doing. But you have to assign the channels to what you want. And then you can click and have sensor panels. You can change which sensors are showing. But yeah, really nice little transmitter. I think the price is spot on with this one. So if you've got an Wtf Rc 7P, and you see we've lost his receiver because I just powered it off and it warns you. So if you've got a standard G7P and you're wondering what the upgrades are, if you've got the original, it will have the plastic wheel instead of this nice foam one. So this is an upgrade. It's got double the memory, so you've now got 20 models that you can program to this transmitter before you're having to delete a model to add a new one. And we've now got 10 channels instead of 7. So I think the price is absolutely bang on the mark for this. In UK, you're looking at just under £60. In America, just under $80. You're getting a 10-channel transmitter, 20 model memories. You've got the 11-channel receiver. So you can use 10 of them channels, but you can also use all the sensor port and everything on it. And yeah, I think it's got a nice feel. It works well. You've got a hell of a lot of receivers to choose from with this. So we've even got receivers with built-in speed controllers and light controllers, and they're all really, really well priced for this. Definitely a lot cheaper than quite a few manufacturers out there. Bearing in mind that most of these receivers all do telemetry and everything, you can get really cheap receivers for this, like the ones that I'm using in a lot of my mini crawlers that are just one-way bind, no telemetry. So if you want dirt cheap setups and you've got lots of like mini crawlers, ideal for that. But yeah, lots and lots of choice and all at a reasonable price. And definitely think the nice foam grip is good. The fact that we've got 10 channels instead of 7 and double the storage memory, which gives it 20 model memories. I know the G7P has dropped down significantly because to add the extra features that they've got. But yeah, nice transmitter. Leaving comments below what you think of this. It's certainly a nice budget transmitter, entry level, feels really nice, looks the part, and it's got a hell of a lot of features that you usually have to pay a lot of money for. Certainly the fact that the receivers can have light controllers, speed controllers built in, it does open up a lot of possibilities, and the 10 channels is nice. So let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the little Wtf G7P Plus 10 channel transmitter, nice foam wheel and 20 model memories. So yeah, quite a nice one, dirt cheap, nice entry level radio with a lot of the functionalities of some of the higher level transmitters. But yeah, leaving comments below what you think of this. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.